and this month I have a lot to update you on. I'm probably going to split it into multiple videos just so that I can cover all the topics. So please bear with me and look out for the other videos as they're released. In this video I want to talk to you about my recent consultation for FFS. I had a consultation with Dr Keith Altman about facial feminisation surgery. When you're looking into your surgeon, as I think it's important to discuss what you want and what you're looking for, and know what that is. If you're somebody that wants to be aesthetically beautiful as such, you can obviously go for someone who's more of a plastic surgeon and will manipulate soft tissues and change your features that way to make you more feminine, like eyebrow raises and things like that. However, in my opinion, what we are and what I am, again my opinion, but what we are as trans women is trying to do is to remove the damage caused by, our testosterone based puberties and the continued exposure to it through our lifetimes. Now, depending on what age you are when you're looking for these things and when you begin transition and just your genetic makeup, you'll have these various masculine bone structures to more or less varying degrees. The younger you are, the less saturated your body is with testosterone over time, the less the bone has changed due to it. The older you are, the harder it is. It's just the facts of the matter. So in my opinion, you want to be looking for a surgeon that is rated, and I'm probably butchering the pronunciation here, so I'll put the spelling up, for a maxillosurgeon, which basically means that they are rated to do work on the actual bone structure. They can shave bone off your jaw, they can break and repoint your chin, they can do work on the hard bone up here at the bridge of your nose, they can do work on your forehead, on the brow bossing across your forehead and things like that. If you have any of these prominent features that are bone features, like a very square jaw or a really heavy angular jaw at the back here, like a 90-degree jawbone or something, you need a maxillosurgeon to correct that. When you're looking for a surgeon, I think it's important, in my case anyway, I wanted to correct my issues that are transgender issues and not just issues that are issues of archetypal beauty. There are things I would change if I had unlimited funds and was going for the archetypal of beauty. I'd get my ears pinned back and maybe reduced. I would get filler put in around my eyes to help remove this years of bad habits of not sleeping. I'd probably get lip fillers and a bit of filler in my chin here. I'd get a scar under my chin removed, things like that. These are soft tissue. They're not a result. They're a result of my life and my lifestyle choices, and indeed some mistakes I made. I have a scar across my top lip which was due to a mistake I made in my life. These are not transgender issues, and I think when you're looking for a surgeon to relieve your gender dysphoria, you need to concentrate on your trans issues, your trans bone problems and things like that. Now, that's not to say that it's all down to bone work. I have a broad nose as far as I'm concerned, this isn't bone, this is cartilage, so you don't need a maxillosurgeon for that. You can just have a plastic surgeon do a rhinoplasty. The bones only start back here, so the tip basically from the bridge here down isn't bone. It's all cartilage and it doesn't count, so you can't rely on a maxillosurgeon to do that work. That's something I didn't really realise or think about going into. It does make a huge difference, and I have learnt a lot after speaking to Dr Altman. Bringing this like to myself personally, I do want my bone structure, as it were, altered and corrected. I don't just want soft tissue work. And it's not to say you can't find a maxillofacial that's willing to do it all, but from what I can tell in the research that I did, Keith Altman is one of the best ones to go to, and he's you know, a surgeon. They're a specialist in their field and they do the work they want to do. You can't force them to do bits that they're not happy to work on, and I have learned a lot in the last, you know, week about that now, because I have other considerations for surgeons. I was looking at the facial team in Spain, but I have nerves and concerns about travelling to Spain and being in a foreign country while being so vulnerable and things like that. I am also well aware that their image online is highly curated by themselves, but also that there is an overwhelming positive feedback on social media and Reddit and forums and threads and Be Your Real Self and Susan's Place and all these transgender communities. They come highly regarded, as well as their image being curated. They are highly regarded by the trans community as well, which in my opinion is the best judge of, you know, the work that's being done, is the overall consensus about a surgeon or group of surgeons. I was thinking of Chris Ingle, but besides being a London doctor and therefore London prices, he's not, from what I can tell, he's not maxillofacial. So again, going back to the bone work, he'll be able to do my nose, which is wonderful. He'll be able to do a lip lift, which is wonderful, but he won't be able to do the bone structure because he's not qualified to do so. You need to see the surgeon that can do the jobs for you. Now, keeping it specific to Keith Altman and this consultation that I've had, the work we have agreed on, potentially if I move forward with him and I get the funds together, the work that we have agreed on is he will bring my hairline forward, but again, reality is different to what you think. He's told me that I can expect 1 centimetre to 2 centimetres, or basically half an inch in progression forward, which isn't a great deal. It's not that him specifically that's the problem for that. It's just apparently that is the way the scalp works and the way it's sort of laced together. It's just what happens, and that's about as much as I can expect. So I can expect about a little finger's width or width difference, so about 1 centimetre, 2 centimetres, which, as you can see with my forehead, isn't really closing up the distance a great deal. I had expected more. I don't know if other surgeons can provide more, but yeah, so hairline advancement anyway. He said that I don't have a lot of brow bossing, which is true. I don't have a lot of brow bossing compared to some trans women, but I don't want any. So he has agreed to remove my brow boss. So again, the bone structure, he will remove that section, reshape it, put it back. He can, obviously, again, the procedures a surgeon offers is down to what they're comfortable doing. So he will do some soft tissue work, and he is qualified to do so. So he has agreed that he will do brow lift as well at the same time. So I explained to him that a great deal of my annoyance is the fact that I get so much transference from my eyeliner up onto my upper part of my hood here, and it is a mixture of having a small amount of brow bossing, yeah, why not? A small amount of brow bossing, and then on top of that, how hooded and low that my eyebrows are. Hopefully, in conjunction with the hairline advancement, brow bossing removed and my eyebrows raised, well, it'll be over here really. So between those two things, it will reduce my forehead space by about 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch, I'm hoping. The brows will come down again a little bit over time. I didn't ask him, but I meant to ask if it would help stop with the frown. That's again aesthetic, but you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say all parts of the aesthetic of it didn't bother me. I do have this constant frown look on my face that gets me a lot of comments, and I do walk around frowning a lot, and I would like it if this work round here would change that, in the sense that it reduces the strength of the musculature around there, and therefore I won't be doing it as much. So I hope anyway, I can't confirm that. But yeah, so raising my eyebrows, removing my brow boss. I'm going to skip straight down to the lower half of my face. I was very happy to hear that he said that my cheeks were really good, because it's nice when somebody, it reaffirms that you're talking to somebody that knows what they're talking about when they look at you and they see that whatever feature it is that you feel confident about, and they see that that feature is actually correct. And I have always had good cheekbones. I don't really need to contour, and actually I haven't. Basically I've just a bit of blusher and highlight. There's no contouring going on here, and yet I have the natural dark line that you'd expect from contouring, and I don't apply it. I contour my forehead more than I do my cheeks. So he said, you don't need your cheekbones touched, and I was like, yeah, and I'm very positive about those. He said that my jawline, he said he didn't feel my jawline needed any work, and I was a little bit like, but sometimes when I look in pictures, I think my jawline looks heavy. Not that it looks angular or sharp, but it looks heavy. He said, well, basically, you know, there are plenty of women out there with a heavy jaw. That doesn't make it particularly masculine. It's the swoop and the angle of it, and I have a gentle swoop. So he said that's fine. He did, however, say if there was one thing he would suggest doing, he wants to do my chin. And you know, now he's one of those things, now he's said it, I see it too, which is, as I've always said about the face, it's a double-edged sword. In order to be able to improve yourself, you need to be able to see the flaws, and once you do, you can't unsee them. So he's identified that I have quite a broad jaw here, and that it's not only is it broad, but it's very straight. So he said that he'd like to do some work on that. I didn't quite realise how invasive the procedure was, because I hadn't really thought about my jaw too much or looked into it, but yeah, they straight up cut it in half and then remove bone from the two halves until they're happy, and then reattach the bone in the middle. He said that with my cheekbones and a smaller jaw, it will give me a much more triangular look to my face, and therefore, you know, a more feminine finish, because there'll be less of a square end to my face. It will help improve my side profile as well, which is something I said to him about. Like, I'm not. I look at this all the time, whether I'm on camera or doing my makeup in the morning or just looking at my reflection in the day. You know, this is what I see. Sometimes this, you know, that's about as much as I see. It's only when I notice that I'm in photos or I catch my reflection in two objects that I actually see the full side on profile. So it doesn't bother me as much, but I'm aware that that profile could look masculine to other people, and if they're, as I've said before, I want to be able to sit down at a restaurant with another group of women and just be with the other group of women, and not have servers or customers walk past and be like, oh look, it's 3 women and a tranny. You know, I want them to be able to just see 4 women sat at a table. That's, you know, if my side profile is giving me away all the time, you know, it's something that I'm happy that they're going to address. Moving up to the final one and the biggest part, the nose. Again, it was a contention for me, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do, or if I'm even going to go with Keith or Dr. Altman because of it. He was very specific in trying to pin me down on what work I wanted done on my nose almost immediately, and I was like, kept pointing at the tip and being like, it's very bulbous, I don't like it. You know, it just sort of, it's just so rounded and just, ugh, I hate it. He said, like, well, basically he said, I won't touch this. You know, it's not my area of expertise. I'm not a rhinoplastic surgeon. I don't do the tips of noses. I won't touch it. I will do the bone work for the bridge, and I will do the bone work up here into your brow bossing and everything else, but I will not touch the tip of your nose. It's not what I do. He did say that he has another surgeon that he uses for that, and he'll bring him in. It'll still be one operation, one and done, but obviously there's a second surgeon and second set of fees, so all of a sudden the price might be going way out of my price range now. I don't know, I haven't had the quote yet. He needs to contact the other surgeon, and then I have to have a consultation with them, so, you know, it just complicates things. I don't know. Also, on top of that, the work he showed me, I was happy with the vast majority of the work that he does, but when it comes to the noses, I have a little bump and it's a little bit too broad, and I want, if I'm paying tens of thousands of pounds, which is what this will be, I want a nose that isn't gender neutral or isn't masculine, or you know, I want a nose that screams feminine. I'm paying for this. I want a feminine nose. I want all the features that are worked on to scream feminine, not masculine or just even gender neutral. You know, I need them to, if I'm paying for this, I want them to scream what I want them to scream. So he does a rather straight nose, so he will literally just remove the minuscule bump that I have and make my nose narrower. The other guy will work on the tip. Also, I'm getting a lip lift as well. He agreed to a lip lift, so at the same time as the other thing, which is the thing I was talking about on Reddit, where somebody had said no, he won't do a lip lift and a nose at the same time. Absolute rubbish. He will do. He agreed to it immediately without any problems. So yeah, he'll do the lip lift. Somebody else will do the tip of my nose, and he'll do the bridge, narrow the bridge and the thing. But if I'm paying this money, I want the ski slope nose. I want the most feminine feature. Plenty of women go out there and get their noses fixed for similar reasons. So as a trans woman, I'm not bothered. I don't want my nose to go from a minus to just a neutral. I want my nose to go from a minus to a positive, especially when I'm paying for it. So yeah, it has given me pause for thought. I did immediately look up Chris Ingle and then immediately realised that he's not maxillophilo, so he can do my nose fantastically because this is all soft tissue and cartilage, but he can't do my brow bossing. He can't split my chin in half and reduce the size of that. So there are pros and cons, and it's going to be a process, I think, but there you go. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you all. Bye!